Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, everybody. We're about to begin. Please let us stand for the national anthem, please. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is said that a thing of beauty is a joy forever, and that will explain why there is so much joy in this room this afternoon. Allow me to welcome you to this handing over ceremony for the Michael Campbell Art Collection, which has been donated to the University of the West Indies. Ladies and gentlemen, a hand for the late Michael Campbell. This is philanthropy at its best. We are talking about 261 pieces by over 65 Jamaican artists who can only be described as the pioneers of Jamaican art movement and reflecting the most vibrant 40 years of Jamaican art, with the oldest piece being created in 1944. It is my pleasure this afternoon to welcome all of us. I know we are oversubscribed and the place is a little hot, so we won't keep you here long. It's a good thing we are loving, nice people who can be close together this afternoon. So I would like to welcome here, on behalf of the UA Mona management, our statesman in residence, former Prime Minister, the Most Honorable P.J. Pattison. You can give him a hand, please. Special welcome to Miss Moody, who is the donor, representing the donor. Please give her a hand, Ms. Moody. Our own principal, Professor Denzel Williams. Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. I really want to give the Minister of Finance a bigger hand, you know. Our own Minister of Education and the MP for the University, Honorable Favour Williams. The Chairman of the National Gallery of Jamaica and President of the Senate, Senator Tom Tavares Pinson, representing Honorable Olivia Grange. Member of Parliament, former Leader of Opposition, Honorable Peter Phillips. We also have members of the Diplomatic Corps. Please welcome them, please. Members of UA management, both at the regional and Mona level. Please welcome our executives, please. We have past principal, Professor Dale Weber. And I think I've seen at least two past deputy principals, Pereira and Box Hill. And friends and family too numerous to call by name. Welcome this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, this all started from as far back as 2020 when we were approached to receive this awesome donation, this awesome collection of art. At the time, Professor Dale Weber was at the helm, and he has worked tirelessly to bring home the art here and to make sure that we are experiencing the reality of the handing over this afternoon. So it is only appropriate that we ask Professor Weber, former principal, to come and give a brief overview of what this is all about. Professor?
Thank you very much, Registrar Dr. Stanberry. I know you have welcomed the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, and I will say a few words about RPM, but welcome, and to Ms. Moody, who I met for the first time today, but I think we've met in spirit many times. Principal Williams, and people don't know that Principal Williams and I go back a long way. This is like a relay, right, Denzel? So it is good to see you in the chair. It is good for me to not be in the chair. Minister Clark and Minister Williams, so Tavares, for instance, I will not say when we last met. I will leave that one alone. Peter, welcome home. Sir Phillips. I saw Ken and Lady Hall, and I must say special welcome to them. And I will offer, yes? And I will offer my apologies because I missed that very important function that we had planned, but we shall make up for it. As Registrar said, too many friends to call all the names, but welcome, welcome to you all, and thank you for being here today. I wish Michael Campbell was here, but in a way he is, all around us. Michael died in September 2023. He was a philanthropist. He had a heart of gold. It was his desire to preserve Jamaica's cultural heritage in many ways, and this is but one. I think his first wish would be to inspire others to donate. And it doesn't mean you have to donate art, because many of us will not have the collection that he had. But there are many things that you can donate, and it is the spirit of philanthropy that must shine through. He was the owner of various paintings and collections and pieces of art. He was a collector par excellence. He had an eye and a mind for beauty and for value. His philanthropy has resulted in the gift that we have here today of the 261 pieces, with all these artists, painters who have put them together, and they themselves were a giant in their industry. What's interesting is that the first piece was 1944, and the university started in 1948, and the growth, the development, the maturity in Jamaica's art and culture matches that of the university as we grew together. Michael believed that the University of the West Indies was probably the best place to host, value, keep, preserve, show, share, and enjoy this work of art. He therefore asked for us to be the repository. The University of the West Indies is most pleased to take this collection But we're not hiding it. This collection is for students, for staff, for the community, for well-wishers, for all who would like to see and benefit from the work of hundreds of pieces of work with many artists. In November 2021, I got a call from the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, and he said, "Dale, why don't you come over to my residence?" I said, "Sure, yes, PM," because it wasn't unusual. At the time, if you remember, PM, we were having regular discussions about how we should reshape the university, what we should do. We were talking about the statesman in residence, and we were also talking about the P.J. Patterson Institute for African Caribbean Advocacy. So it wasn't unusual to get that call, so I scurried over as I normally did. However, this one was different. Today, he introduced me to Michael Campbell, and that was my first introduction to the man. I'd heard of him, I'd seen him, I'd rented his cars, but I had never met the man before. It was different from our other meetings. As usual, the PM kind of sat there and he kind of nudged me towards him and talk to the man. And I'm like, "But never met the man before." I said, "Talk to the man." We started a discussion. His excitement was exhilarating. It was infectious. Once Michael started talking, you can't shut him up. Sorry, that's not an appropriate thing to say. Once Michael started talking, it was infectious and you wanted to hear more. But his honesty shone through brightly, and that was my first meeting with him. We sat there, and by the time I looked back at PM Patterson, we had been there an hour, and PM just kind of sat there looking and smiling like, "I just put those two together." Well, I know you have done a lot of that, putting together, Prime Minister, so this was not unusual for you. But we went on to talk about so many things, and the last thing that he mentioned was his love for art. And I'm like, "That's interesting. I never would have thought so." And he talked about his art. And he got even more excited. He said, "Why don't you come and see my collection?" And I said, yes, I'd like to do that. We'd been at PM's house for over an hour now. So I'm saying, okay, we will do this another day, because day is far spent. He said, "No, let's do it today." So I'm looking at the Prime Minister and saying, "Is this on, sir?" He says, "Go." That's all he said, "Go." So the same day we went on a little drive. I had no idea where I was going. We drove and we turned and we twisted and we went up some hills and down some hills and round some corners. I finally realized where I was going. We got to a house and I thought, yeah, we're going to see some art. I expected 20, 40, maybe 100 pieces, because clearly he was a collector and he had spoken about it with such passion. Ladies and gentlemen, I was absolutely blown away. I walked into a house with triple security and got into the first room. I looked left, I looked right. I started to count and said, "But there are paintings all over, every surface." Then I started looking at the names. And you saw Campbell Reynolds, you saw Edna Manley, you saw Barrington Watson, you saw Albert Hewitt. And I'm like, but this is the collection of collections. This is everything and everybody who you really want to get your hands on. And I'm saying, the first question I asked him was, "How did you do this?" He gave me this little wry smile. And he says, "I will not divulge, but it is for you to absorb." Well, we did that for over an hour, just walking through the building. I counted over 300 bits of painting and more were there. Too soon it came to an end. I went back to I had to go back to my office. I always thought the principal's office at the University of West Indies was the best place to be. I went back to my drab, dreary little desk, Denzel, because now I had just been through artist heaven. And I thought about what I had seen. I couldn't contain myself. I ran around the office literally, telling everybody in every office what I had just seen, what I had just experienced. I think, for me, that was a turning point in my understanding of Jamaican culture in terms of our painting. Well, if you think I was on a high, the ecstasy went even further. About a month later, I got another call from Prime Minister Patterson. He says, "I need you to have another meeting with Mr. Campbell." And I'm like, "Why? You're going to just whet my appetite and I'm going to look at all these things?" And he says, "No. I have been talking to Mr. Campbell and I have managed to persuade Mr. Campbell to have this collection donated to the University of the West Indies. Of course, I was speechless. I was stunned. But not to let the opportunity pass, I rushed over to the house and I asked, when can we do this and where do we do this and how do we get on board? There were some caveats, and of course, if you think about it, there must be. The first is that, so we're 75 years old as a university, and the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson is the patron, or was the patron for the UWI Mona campus for the 75th anniversary. The first caveat is that whatever we put on display must be there another 75 years after this. So it has to have longevity and permanence. Second was that you cannot sell any of it. Never, ever, ever. Which means in perpetuity, the donation is with the institution. I would like to thank the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, whose guiding hand made this possible, because I know that long before he introduced me to Mr. Campbell, he had been working the scenes to ensure that this donation was right. I think he wanted to be sure that he knew that Mr. Campbell was the right donor. He needed to be sure that we were the right recipients. But I think having put the two together, we were pleased. I'd like to thank the University of the West Indies for having the vision to be able to accept such a donation. Because I will tell you, my first thought was, but as I departed as principal, I realized that this was not going to happen in my lifetime as a principal. Not dead yet. So I want to thank the university for the continuity of thought. I know the Bursar put together a team that scurried around and found a lot of the answers that were needed. I know that Ms. Moody had to work tirelessly, and at times she would send a comment which says, "Are we there yet?" Because it took a while. It took much longer than it should have taken. I mean, if somebody giving you something, you take it on your own, don't it? No, this took time. It had to be done properly, and it has been done well. And I'd like to thank Ms. Moody for her patience, her guidance, and her input in making it so. And as I hand the baton over to the current sitting principal, I know that you are benefiting from the work of my administration, just as how I benefited from the work of many previous administrations. And it is the continuity of the institution that gives us some of the strength that we have. I therefore would like to thank Most Honorable P.J. Patterson for his work. I'd like to thank Ms. Moody for her insight and her legalese. I'd like to thank the current principal for accepting take advantage of this. Think about the added donations and added philanthropy which it will instill in others. And most of all, think about where we are as a people. A collection such as this is now a great contribution to the legacy, not just of the UWI, but to the legacy of Michael Campbell. Philanthropist and art are one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Sir Kenneth Hall and Lady Hall. They left. Okay. Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have here this afternoon the chairman of the National Gallery of Jamaica, representing the Minister of Gender, Culture, Entertainment and Sport, Honorable Olivia Grange, who is unable to be here. Please help me to welcome Senator Tom Tavares Pinson.
You know that the direction has come out that at functions like these we should avoid lengthy salutations. But in the presence of former Prime Minister Patterson, regardless of the direction, I have to acknowledge him specifically. Lovely to see you, Prime Minister, in fine fettle. Members of the Cabinet, members of the university community, friends all, and of course my very good friend Dulce, who I knew with Michael for probably 40 years. Lovely to see you again, looking not like unlike how I met you 40 years ago. So it's lovely to see you. You know, I'm a person that believes that you must always take lessons from things. Some of the things people miss. But I have taken a lesson today. And the lesson says, in relation to my small collection, if former Prime Minister Patterson called me, I am to go and see my doctor immediately. So I'm not anticipating any call in the immediate future, Prime Minister. So I'm delivering a few words on behalf of the Honorable Minister Babsy Grange, who, as you heard, is not well. And she says that as the Minister of Culture, it is with pleasure that I accepted the invitation of Professor Denzel Williams, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona Campus, to participate in this very special occasion of the handover of the art collection of the late Michael Campbell, outstanding businessman, innovator, economic visionary, and philanthropist to the University of the West Indies. She indicates that she's sorry that she has had to ask me to give her remarks. I am not, because I was intending to come and sit in the back room in my green shirt as a sign of envy, not political commitment. Green envy because I had hoped, and I was saying it to former Prime Minister earlier, that the National Gallery would have snagged a few pieces of this collection. But I put envy aside, and to the relevant authorities I offer the full support of the National Gallery's curatorial team, the persons who are involved in the maintenance of our national collection, and I undertake to put that professional aspect of the National Gallery at your disposal at any time that you need them. And I will ensure that it is on the record of the National Gallery that even if I'm not there, the commitment of the gallery to assist you in curatorial and conservational matters will stand, to use your phrase, in perpetuity, because this is a gift not only to the University of the West Indies, it is a gift to the country, this Jamaica land we love. Occasions like this must be given due recognition for the value they contribute to the holistic development of our students and young people. It is generally acknowledged that knowledge and experience of art and culture, whether as a career aspirant or simply as enthusiasts who revel in the experience and the appreciation of the area, serve to enhance the learning and development of our people. Now, I would never have written that. I would have simply said that it is a remarkable gift that inevitably is going to be appreciated by all students, all persons who pass through these hallowed halls of learning. It is for this reason that I am appreciative of the impact that Mr. Michael Campbell and his collection of art will have on these young minds who are fortunate to attend this august institution of the Jamaica and Caribbean people, established 75 years ago and currently listed among the finest tertiary institutions in the world. Allow me, therefore, to pay tribute to the late Michael Campbell for his altruism and as a visionary in his decision to contribute this vast collection of Jamaican art to the repertoire of outstanding academic and cultural materials presently housed at the University of the West Indies. It is no small action for Mr. Campbell to donate such a national treasure to the UWI. His vast collection, this aspect of it, 261 images of 65 Jamaican artists which stitch together some of the stories of Jamaican art and represent our people's use of their creative imagination to create a new aesthetic and civilization as part of the process of promoting the dignity and integrity of our people. Michael Campbell's love for the visual art of Jamaica is phenomenal, and we celebrate him today. That a man engrossed in the development of one of Jamaica's tourist service sectors, the rent-a-car sector, determined to create a world-class brand within that industry, creating, in the end, the highest service standard that one could possibly require, could offer to the world, and occupied in sustaining and enhancing this product. It is remarkable that he could, through all of this, make a link between business development and the appreciation of art and culture seen in this collection of Jamaican art. Such a man must be celebrated. Michael Campbell's appreciation for the work of Jamaican art unleashed in him a creative imagination that we inherited from our ancestors and aided him in his desire for innovation and a constant effort to raise the bar of excellence in his business of the tourist sector, where he has left an indelible imprint. It is my hope that this will not be lost on the students who pause to view this collection, that one can indeed pursue careers in any field of endeavor, be it in business, medicine, social sciences, engineering, etc., and still develop and promote a taste and appreciation for the arts and culture. As a matter of fact, it is ultimately the source of innovation, invention, and inspiration. In celebrating Michael Campbell's gift today, I am happy that all this is taking place at the Faculty of Medical Science Teaching and Research Complex, because it is important that the students who gather here today and after may envision the connection between art, culture, innovation, and whatever field of endeavor they pursue. To this end, Michael Campbell joins such stalwarts as A.D. Scott, Jamaican engineer and master builder, who contributed much of his work of art to the University of the West Indies. Further to this, the 261 items of the Michael Campbell collection represent a significant part of the stories of Jamaican people, as a people who emerged from colonialism and whose culture, tradition, and heritage were to a great extent devalued and distorted. It has been through the works of our artists that the true stories of who we are have been propagated. Our artists drew on the resilience and fierce determination of the Jamaican spirit and extracted for our consumption sounds, texts, and images that have played a great role in the enfranchisement of our people. Works of art, by their very nature, provide a capsule of memory and reality that help us to rediscover and engage the truth of who we are. The visual artists with whom students today and in the future will interact as they gaze on this exceptional collection will no doubt bring to life and statue the university's occasion for social and cultural enrichment necessary for the sustainable prosperity of our people. We are, after all, a people who have understood the true generosity must integrate achievement in the physical and economic elements of life, as well as in the creative appreciation of life's values, and ultimately the transcendence of positive human-to-human engagement. The ministry which the minister leads houses the National Gallery of Jamaica, and I'm pleased to announce that this year, in June, the National Gallery will celebrate 50 years of existence and will be staging a major exhibition, among other activities, to celebrate that milestone. My ministry is proud to join hands with the University of the West Indies in the promotion of the Michael Campbell National Art Collection. It is my further hope that wherever it is located on the campus, it will stand as a beacon of excellence, artistic appreciation, creativity, and philanthropy for students and visitors alike. It is our future hope that those who will pause in future and gaze at the glorious images of the artistry and creativity that abound in these works will be encouraged to discover the awesome power of self-identity and bequeathed to us by those who have gone before, and in so doing, they may attain the success and achievement that our people are capable of. As the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, the Minister pledges her support to the University for the promotion of the Michael Campbell National Art Collection, both in the memory of the man as well as our people who have left us this legacy of bold adventure and achievement for which we are known globally. And the Minister wishes you all the best for 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Tavares Finson. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Favour Williams has been and continues to be a very ardent supporter of the University of the West Indies. Give her a hand, please. It is my pleasure to welcome her now to bring greetings. Minister.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Is that because there's a need? That's right. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me acknowledge Mr. Moderator, Donovan Stanbury, Campus Registrar here at the University of the West Indies, Mr. Tom Tavares Finson, Senator and President of the Senate, the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, former Prime Minister of Jamaica, Minister of Finance, Honorable Nigel Clark and his family here this afternoon, MP Peter Phillips, former leader of the opposition, other colleague MPs, permanent secretaries, others in government, Professor Denzel Williams, Pro Vice Chancellor, Principal of the University of the West Indies, welcome to the hot seat, Professor Dale Weber, former Vice Chancellor and Principal, who is off doing whatever he wants to do. And I want to especially acknowledge all those persons who were involved in doing what we call the legwork, the administrative work, to really make this possible this afternoon. Give them a round of applause. And let me just say, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen from all walks of life, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to join this special occasion at the handover of the Michael Campbell Art Collection to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the University of the West Indies. It is worth repeating. The handover consists of 261 pieces by 65 Jamaican artists, and as UWI's announcement said, it is an unsurpassed gift of philanthropy. And I know Minister Clark just remarked to me a while ago on the contribution of philanthropists in Jamaica. When we look back in our history, we see schools that were donated, churches, land to build schools, and I believe we're at a point where we need to be highlighting more the philanthropy and philanthropists in Jamaica. They are silent, they operate silently and in the background, but it's worth acknowledging them, and certainly here this afternoon we are acknowledging one such. It is also stated that the wish of Jamaican art on exhibition here at the UWI as a testament to the creative spirit and artistic talent that thrive within our nation and region. The Michael Campbell Art Collection in Jamaica, as you know, has a rich history that traces back to the personal passion and vision of its founder, Michael Anthony Campbell. In addition to building the collection, his collection, he was actively involved in promoting Jamaican art and culture. During his lifetime, has supported numerous artists, both financially and through mentorship, and contributed to the preservation and promotion of Jamaica's artistic heritage. In recent years, the Campbell Art Collection has also become a focal point for art education and community engagement. Through exhibitions, workshops, and outreach programs, the collection has helped to nurture the next generation of Jamaican artists and cultivate a greater appreciation for the arts within the local community. And I'm sure you will agree with me that art has this amazing ability to break barriers and make us think and feel deeply. It's a reflection of who we are, our stories, and our culture. The Michael Campbell Art Collection with its incredible mix of works by Jamaican and Caribbean artists. So in closing, I hope you will take this chance to truly appreciate the beauty and importance of the Michael Campbell Art Collection. I am sure this exhibition will remind us of how much the arts mean to all of us and the role it has played in cementing our identification as a people. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to switch for a little while to another form of art, and that is the art of music and performance. And we have there this afternoon the classical and jazz ensemble formed right here in the University of the West Indies Mona campus in 2023 and comprising some 30 musicians. I don't know if there are all 30 coming here this evening, because we would have a little space problem. But nevertheless, please give them a round of applause, the classical and jazz ensemble.
enchant me if you'd only grant me the right to hold you ever so tight and to feel in the night the nearness of you. And to feel in the night the nearness of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for the classical and jazz ensemble. Very soothing piece and complements very well the art and everything that we are doing here this afternoon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our statesman in residence and the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honorable
to speak at this handover ceremony of 261 works of art by 67 Jamaican artists, our finest and most creative over the ages. It also affords me the opportunity to pay due tribute to one of the most dedicated patrons of the arts in our nation, who quietly but assiduously amassed what must be among the most impressive and varied private collection of art in Jamaica, the late business magnate Michael Campbell. He was determined that this event should occur during the celebration of our 75th anniversary. Unfortunately, that was not to be. While he is regrettably, I know his spirit is present and his genuine building on our common heritage, end of quote. The artists represented in this collection are myriad, and like their native Jamaica, diverse in so many ways. They represent a glorious profusion of generative, creative, idiosyncratic visionaries. The oldest work in this collection, as we have heard, is the oil painting Road Workers, created by Albert Huey in 1944. It serves as a fitting anchor and lodestar of this collection, anchored here amid the heritage ruins of the Hope Estate here at Mona. There is depicted in this collection of work after dazzling work, celebrating Jamaica and growth. It mirrors the steady coming together of Caribbean islands and peoples, of increasing disciplines and professions, which mimic the decade-by-decade growth of this beloved institution from 1948. Looking around, indebted to Michael Campbell for his 4 decades of reflection on the long story of Jamaica's coming of age, as told in a unique and easily accessible way. Professor Weber has given an overview. What he is not privy to is the rolling of the wicket that I had to do. It was a very delicate exercise, and I had to use all the powers of persuasion to suggest that there was only one place in Jamaica, other than the National Gallery, that was suitable to receive this collection, and it was the University of the West Indies. So we have yet another set of building blocks as the university goes forward to ensure that the education offered on this campus is visionary, global, and she threw herself enthusiastically. It became her love to make this happen, and I'm speaking of Mrs. Margaret Bernal. As we seek to fully appreciate the magnitude of this philanthropic donation to the university complex here at Mona, we recognize its multifaceted, visionary nature, its potential to network new alliances, and its ability to encourage exploration in brave new academic areas and disciplines. 4 decades ago, when this collection was started, Jamaican art was in its heyday, nationalism and inquiry. It is time with our history of slavery and colonialism. To achieve sustainable development, which is our purpose, we must drive our entrepreneurial and creative skills, which are critical and indispensable elements in our learning as a people. The creative economy accounts for 6.1% of global GDP. In Jamaica, the sector generated $2.2 billion during 2022, and 3% of direct and indirect employment. It earned more than the services in finance, business, insurance, and multifaceted social sciences department, the faculties of humanities and education, CARIMAC, Salisis, all come together to provide a seamless foundation for the exploration in the business of cultural and creative heritage, which is at an all-time high. And so today, as statesman in residence, I want to make a twin appeal. The time has come for a faculty of the creative arts with appropriate linkages to the Faculty of Humanities. I urge the Mona campus, the first and at one time the only campus, to lead the way and ensure that this donation will highlight the enormous potential of the creative economy. Jamaica is one outstanding global exquisite cultural innovation. We cannot squander this legacy. And as you emphasized when you were dealing with horse racing, we want something that is income generating. And I hope that what the government does will inspire others in the private sector to do likewise. and I am not looking in any particular direction. My gaze is all around this room. I believe that this gift and this ceremony should mark a new chapter as we prioritize in our teaching and research the professional skills in order to capitalize on our innate creative talents. Our philanthropic donor, Michael Campbell, did nothing without a good reason. He chose this repository of learning deliberately. Let us ignite the torch that sets aflame the creative industries as a vehicle for development, which fosters economic opportunities.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy that today we're a little bit just about 2 or 3 days, because the university registrar reliably informed me that the real anniversary celebration ends about the middle of January, having regard to when the university was started. So we made it for the 75th anniversary, and we are happy for that. And thank you, Mr. Patterson, for the significant role that you play in all of this. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite you to turn your attention to the 2 screens. We're going to do a very short video presentation highlighting some of the pieces in this marvelous collection.
A donation to the UWI Mona campus in observance of its 75th anniversary by Michael A. Campbell. The Michael Campbell collection loosely encompasses the histories and creative out to hone and contribute to the developing commercial world of Jamaica's rapidly growing capital city, Kingston. Campbell developed a growing public entrepreneurial footprint in Kingston, reflective of the family-based firm Rapid Vulcanizing, founded by A.C. Campbell, his grandfather, in the 1930s. Campbell attended Jamaica College and remained a lifelong supporter and devotee of his alma mater. After business studies in Canada at Sir George William, now Concordia, he returned home in 1959 to build a career which eventually led him to found a rental car business which never looked back. Island Car Rentals, founded in 1973, is still an award-winning top performer in the island's tourism landscape, consistently gaining top awards or dedicated specifically to him. The Michael Campbell Art Collection celebrates his commitment to and passion for his homeland, its incomparable physical beauty and variety, its characterful and colorful communities, its rural countryside life, its clustered urbanscape. The artists' names are household names, the names of the pioneers: Albert Huey, Carl Abrahams, Barrington Watson, Colin Garland, David Boxer, Osmond Watson, Karl Pabu Singh, Seah Pabu Singh. The list is comprehensive to the UWI Mona campus 75th anniversary.
this awesome collection. Please hear it for our principal.
I'm not sure what we would do without the incomparable Margaret Bernal, because she has saved me this evening. When I accepted to speak, I thought it was going to be an easy task because I was told to say thank you. And I was going to say thank you and just go back to my seat. But what they did not tell me is that I was going to speak after Prime Minister Patterson. And now the task has become extremely arduous, but we will do what we have to do. Ladies and gentlemen, let me acknowledge Prime Minister Patterson. Let me acknowledge, in their absence, Governor General Hall and Lady Hall, Minister Clark and Minister Williams, former ministers of finance. And I wonder, Minister Clark, why is it that we have two former ministers of finance, Hugh Sumall and Peter Phillips? And where is Mina Israel? Mina will tell you that is not surprising because Michael Campbell's accounts are those that are well sorted after in the banking sector. And so we want to celebrate the business titan he is and to say what a great customer he is for us to have in the business sector. In the 1% of top universities in Latin America and the Caribbean, and in the top 3% of the best universities globally. It will be an inspiration to our students, faculty and staff, alumni, and all stakeholders of our UWI to view this collection that will help them to reflect on their inner soul and move beyond mere existence to a life of purpose, curiosity, and a greater level of sensibilities towards humanness, especially during this time of global turbulence and a collapsing of social order and an unbridled nihilism among our youths today. Indeed, there needs to be a greater sense of cultural identity and understanding in order for us to cool the temperatures of the runaway disorder and despair affecting all classes of people everywhere. The Nettlefordian concept of inward stretch, outward reach is a youth today. For the conceptual framework
Thank you very much, Principal. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of this would have been for naught if we didn't have what we call a gift of deed. And so we're going to sign that now, which gives tangible proof that the collection will now reside at the University of the West Indies. So we're going to invite Ms. Dulcie Moody to come to the table, please. Principal will sign, and thereafter Ms. Moody will present to Principal Williams a compiled art collection book. I want to invite Mrs. Bernal and Prof. Weber just to stand by as witnesses, as they are in fact trustees of this business. Give Professor Weber and Ms. Bernal a hand, please, as trustees. done, the great transaction done. Let's give a hand for this great transaction. A very fitting and appropriate way to bring down the curtains on our 75th anniversary celebration. And I want to thank everybody who played a role in making this happen. First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Dulcie Moody, the donor, and the family of Michael Campbell. Please give them a big round of applause. We'd like to thank our statesman in residence for his, I don't know if I should call it advocacy, and his great work behind the scene to land this collection here at University of the West Indies, and for such an inspiring presentation this afternoon. Please let us hear it for the statesman in residence. Mrs. Bernal and former Prime Minister Pattison, who are trustees for this collection. Please give them a big hand. We'd like to thank our marketing team, led by Ms. Kadian Martin and the team from the Estate Management Division and the Dean of the Medical Sciences Faculty, who is our host here this afternoon. Please give them a round of applause. The press, and I was very impressed by the interest that the press has taken in this matter. We got a very, very good write-up in one of today's daily, and they are here with us this evening. Thank you so much for being present, and please continue to tell the wonderful story of the University of the West Indies. We thank our bursar and her team, Mrs. Park Twaits, the registry team, the legal team, and that not only includes our legal team, and that not only includes our in-house. All of you can follow, and we enjoy the refreshment. Thank you very much. God bless you, and go home safely.